Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I am swatching my recent purchase as per my nail rules. By that I mean that I must wear a polish before it goes into my collection. This is a fun chocolate brown jelly with some large particle shimmer that flips from gold to green to blue to pink. It is called To Teach Us a Better Past by Bee's Knees Lacquer. I sat on this polish until now because I didn't know if I wanted another neutral, but I also thought this might be a good, goth orange, if you will. I sort of felt the lack of a grungy orange in my collection during Easter, and I hope this one might fill that gap. I'm quite happy with it. When you see it in sun and shade, it manages to be both grungy and muddy because of the base, but also being bright and colorful as a result of the shimmer. In the first coat, I didn't do a great job of getting it even, but I think you could just wear this in one coat if you were more careful than me. It is the usual beautiful Bee's Knees Lacquer formula. It is looking quite orange on camera, and that was true in person as well. That is why I was referring to it as an orange. As we build it up, you'll see it will start to look more brown. In the artificial LEDs here, you can see the shimmer will move from gold to green and just a tiny bit into blue. The blue will be more apparent later in the full hand shots. One of the other reasons that I slept on this polish was that I was concerned that it specifically wouldn't look good on me. My hands are very pink, and they have some slight golden undertones, and I thought for some reason it would sort of clash with this nail polish, and because I'm sort of ambivalent to browns in the first place, I thought that would make it an unpleasant look for me, but I'm quite enjoying it. The warmth of the tone of my hands along with the warmth of the polish actually seem to go together decently well. This manicure just reminds me of food. No matter how I cut it, it reminds me of food. Specifically, it reminds me of homemade caramel. It has that reddish brown cast, and the rainbowy shimmer makes it look like hard candy coating to me. Maybe I should just eat before I record my voiceovers or write my scripts. I don't know. This could be bad. Maybe I'm ruining the illusion, but yes, I do write a script. I sort of go over the points that I want to hit in a video, just because from day to day I might forget what, say, a polish reminded me of, or how the formula was behaving that day. And when I look back through my footage, I might be reminded of something suddenly, and instead of just forgetting it and forgetting to mention it in the video, I would prefer to just write that down. If a particularly fun phrase pops to mind, I'll write that down, but I don't necessarily have a script word for word prepared for a video. You can see now that we're in the wiggle shot for the second coat. The base is building up. It's heading towards that chocolate color, but it's not quite there yet. In terms of opacity, with my short nails, in 3, it might as well be opaque. However, if you have longer nails, a more obvious nail line, you might just have to resign yourself to the idea that you will not get this opaque enough to disguise those things, if that is something that you want. If you're not interested in opacity, great. I think the full hand shot in sun might be a better place to decide for yourself what you think of that, because I think I can still see some of my ridges through the nail polish in 3 coats in the sunlight. So before this year, I had actually never managed to spill acetone anywhere. I had accidentally dropped a nail polish cap while I was polishing, so I did get polish on the floor because of that, but that was sort of my only nail polishing accident. But since I've started recording myself, I have spilled acetone twice, and quite badly. This manicure was one of those times. I was rushing because I knew that morning was the only time I would have any chance for sun for the next 3 days, so I felt I needed to finish my manicure, and I apparently rushed too much. Previously, I had always just used my acetone bottle to dip into, and because I'm still using that while filming, when I tip it by accident, which again has never happened before but is now a problem I have, now it spills an entire bottle of acetone. So I've bought a dapping dish. That is the moral of this story, that at least now, Hopefully I will only be able to spill a tiny amount of acetone. My goals have very low bars. Thank goodness for my husband, because I was trying not to ruin my nails while also making sure the acetone didn't destroy any furniture or the floor or anything like that. Luckily, everything's fine, but he did help a lot. I also managed to stab myself during this process, so I then had to get a Band-Aid to cover up the wound on my other thumb. You'll see that in the next video. And here we are in the sun. The chocolatey base is very much a milk chocolate. Again, I think it leans just slightly into that caramel color. You could definitely still see the gold to green and just barely into blue shimmer, but I would point your attention specifically to my ring finger for the opacity. I feel like I can just barely see my ridges, and that is my most ridged nail. So if that gives you an idea of what you can see through this jelly, I hope that helps. This is very much an orange that is standing at the precipice of being a brown. I think you personally just get to decide which of the two you think this really is. It's so difficult to discern one way or the other. It's so perfectly situated between them. I decided it was an orange. Now, by this point in the filming process, I had just cleaned up my acetone spill. So I had just stopped running through the house, grumbling, fuck, 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 over and over again. So it was a little hard to calm down and move my fingers slowly, but I think I did a good job. I'm going to congratulate myself on that one. And we're now in the shade shot. We've lost a bit of that golden color, but we still have the green. We're moving into the blue. You can see some violet into pink. And at some points, I feel like I'm seeing red at the edges, but I don't know if that's just the light bouncing off one fingernail onto the other. I'll let you decide if you think there's a red shift in this one. I had thought I saw that in the bottle, but sometimes there are shifts in the bottle that you don't practically see in real life as it's on your nails, because the angles are just too extreme in the bottle and your nails just don't do that. Your nails just don't curve to a 90-degree angle like the bottle does. I feel like the elusive colors here are the violet and possibly that red. I feel like the blue, the pink is quite obvious. I feel like the green is quite obvious. Sometimes I get surprised by the filming process because I'll think to myself, do I really need a shade shot and an indoor shot? And this is one of those cases where, yes, actually, I kind of did need both. I did feel like the polish looked different inside than it did in the shade. Here in the darker conditions, you can see why chocolate brown seems like such a good descriptor. It's especially apparent inside how closely it rides this particular line of orange to brown. Also, I feel like you're seeing the pink shift a lot better inside, and I feel like you're seeing the individual particles of shimmer more distinctly. I also think you can catch the violet shift a little better inside. And again, I'm going to leave it to you whether you see red or not. I feel like I am, but again, I don't know if this is bias. I don't know if it's just an illusion created by being next to another nail with nail polish on it. A little hard for me to tell. And that is all for today. Thank you for watching, and here is a clip of my weird chipmunk. Hi, Chippy. I know. Adorable as always. How do you do it? This is the millet muncher. This Chippy likes all the little bits and pieces, and we'll look over the peanuts just to get these. I haven't named you. I should name you something beside the millet muncher.